What's up, YouTube? It's your main man, AB the Hero, back again with another video. And in today's video, we're going to talk about some of the top NBA players who you don't follow on social media. Alright, folks. Go ahead and like, subscribe to this video, hit the notification bell before we even get this thing started. And as we go, if you got any questions or thoughts that pop into your head, make sure you drop them in the comments. And we're going to get into that discussion for the rest of the day after we drop this video. So let's get into it. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is a lot on this channel I talk about like the social capital that these players end up having. When we start talking about the big baller brand, LaMelo Ball, we talk about the mystique that he carries and why so many people follow him and are interested in what he's doing. The current conversation around the NBA right now is the platform. It's so big being in the bubble. We need to be able to be at the biggest stage and voice our opinion and be heard and all of these things that make a ton of sense. And one of the things that I always think about, and I think that we see it in this climate of social media today, is where we believe that like just because you can get on that platform, you can be next to the person who's got the hundred and millions of followers, that is going to then affect you in a way, right? But what I see is, as I look through some of these social profiles, is that you have to have an intentional element in order to scale, in order to grow. And I think that when we look at guys like my first guy here, who is not on the list, this is not the list of, like, you know what I'm saying, folks who you don't follow. It's LeBron James here, who is 71.8 million followers, right? That's astronomical. That's crazy. That's up there with the most famous people in the world type of thing. Obviously, you can go to the Kims and the Rock Johnsons, who are over 100,000, Neymar, all of those folks who are even bigger than LeBron, which is even crazy to think about. But I think that when you think about current active NBA players, LeBron James sets the parameter of like, this is the ceiling. This is the greatest you could kind of get to. LaMelo Ball is somebody who is not even in the NBA yet, but is already at 5.6 million followers, right? We look at his brother, Lonzo Ball, who has been in the league for a few years now, 8.4 million followers, from UCLA, second overall pick to the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of hype, a lot of, you know, a lot of hype just of him and talks of him being the next great Laker, and a lot of respect from the community put on Lonzo's name to see him amass that amount of followers. However, what I'll say is that there definitely needs to be credit given to the intentional aspect of like the big baller brand and a lot of pub and a lot of hype that they were able to create and raise the platform of these players. Now, one of the things that's not missed on me is that most of the guys on this list, so I'm about to show you, are actually signed to sneaker companies as well. So when you see some of the accomplishments and accolades that these guys got, you think like, damn, why aren't you as at least big as the LaMelo Ball at this point when you sign to some of the biggest corporations in the world? But let's go. I start here with Zoe, and my first person here is a guy who I believe is tied to Lonzo Ball. And this is why I think this is a great place to jump off as a comparison point of Lonzo, UCLA, 8.4 million, Swiper the Fox, Kentucky, both Blueberry programs, both deep runs into the national tournament that year they come out. A lot of attention on both of these guys. However, Swiper the Fox, 1.3 million social followers on Instagram. And to me, you would think he would have more because, like I was saying, his name is tied greatly with Lonzo. Even his dad was taking shots at LeVar when he was coming up before in his rookie season. There's a lot of stuff. Swiper deal with Nike here, deal with Hulu, doing Hulu ads, played on the USA national team, even got the Casey Anthony photos up, you know what I mean? PEs from Nike, the whole vibe. Like somebody who you would think with all of the publicity and the platform and is playing some pretty good basketball right now, averaging I think 20 points, 21 points a game this season for the Sacramento Kings. You would think, yo, this would be that dude because every time they go to head with Alonzo or somebody, that whole matchup in the history of those folks is one of the storylines that they play up. Let's go to the next person here. R.J. Barrett, 1.3 million, the same as Swiper. And also, Swiper Fox is a great nickname as well. So, it's just a lot of branding opportunities there for him. But R.J. Barrett, here in this profile, you see played on for Team Canada. You know what I'm saying? So, international opportunities here. I want to say third overall pick in the draft, signed to one of the biggest organizations in the NBA, the New York Knicks. Signed a sneaker deal right away, so there should be some extra publicity and marketing behind him as one of the only young, active guards on the Puma roster. I will say that if I'm R.J. Barrett, I'm nervous right now. LaMelo Ball just signed a Puma deal, and now you're trying to pit me with him. Unless they got enough money to start shelling out and bringing out 2 shoe lines, I think R.J. Barrett might be on the shelf. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, they do right by this kid and get him some sneakers out. But so I said, sign with Puma, play basketball at Duke. At Duke, his teammate was Zion Williamson, who was all of the hype. The Duke team was all of the hype on TV all of the time. So even though the Knicks suck, you would think that just off the exposure from being a Dookie and having his name brought up every time you talked about Zion in high school would have raised his profile past where it is. And like I said, 1.3 million is not terrible. But when you think of some of the stops that he's had, you would expect him to be a little bit higher than that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got a guy like Melo who is not even in the NBA and is already at 5 million. Aaron Gordon, 1.2 million, and we're gonna get to these cats who are under $1 million too. So I don't want you to sit here and be like, dang, what, all $1 million? That's still pretty good. But Aaron Gordon, a dude here, we see him chilling with young J. Cole here. You feel me? Practicing with J. Cole. So the Instagram is popping. Also is a rapper. And also where we all know and love Aaron Gordon from the most is those slam dunk contests. So he's probably given us some of the greatest slam dunk contests in the history of the NBA. And this still hasn't raised his profile past a certain point, you know what I'm saying, I would have expected him to be, you know what I'm saying, on another level. Here you see him pictured with Chance the Rapper at the slam dunk contest. Just ridiculous athlete, up and coming player. I would think that he'd be higher. All right, Julius Randle. Now Julius Randle is on this list for similar reasons to what I talked about R.J. Barrett. Julius Randle has hit all of the stops, right? Everything. If you are wishing that my NBA career looked like this, that would be what you would expect. That is Julius Randle's career. High draft pick from Kentucky, one of the best schools, deep NCAA playoff run. Drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers in the top 5. Then gets traded to the New York Knicks, you know what I'm saying? Just like opportunities on opportunities of being in some of the most historic franchises, played for Los Angeles during the Kobe era, so that's even more hype and more tutelage and all of these things that he should have been getting. And it's pretty active on the socials as well. So you would think that a guy like Julius Randle would, just off of the strength of his career trajectory or his stops that he's made, would at least be at $1 million over here on Instagram. Hasn't done that yet. My next guy here, Jamal Murray. Now, Jamal Murray is somebody who is on the rise, right? Like a steep climb to greatness. What he's been doing in this year's playoffs is raising his stock tremendously as we speak. The numbers are going up. But not even 800,000 followers here on the Instagram. And the crazy thing is Jamal Murray had a incident earlier this year in which his Instagram was like the center around it, and I won't go into too much detail, but trust me, it was crazy, and it drew a lot of attention to his account. And so you would think that alone would have boosted his stock to crazy numbers. Did not happen. Jamal Murray, another Kentucky player. And the Kentucky thing is important because in college basketball, they get a lot of love, man. They have had some of the top recruits going through there back to back to back to back to back to back, stacked teams. So you think that just collectively being around all of that talent would raise the profile of all of those players. We're not seeing that happening, which is sad for these Kentucky guys. When I say that Jamal Murray's stock is going up, I wanted to show y'all this. So this is a platform. It's called Social Blade, and you can type in folks Instagram, YouTube, and they will give you some analytics on those things. So what I'm telling you is that during the bubble, right, we've seen Jamal Murray play stupid great basketball, right? They have here, and you can't even see my pointer here, but if you look at the top row here, it starts at August 25th, right? And you see these astronomical jumps that he's made. And if you go back a little bit further, you probably could see even greater jumps. But we look at 500,000. So right now, I think we had him at damn near 700,000. So just in the last couple of days, in the last week, since the playoffs have been happening, and this is the thing that folks talk about, that bubble and raising the profile. And this is one of the best places to be. We're seeing this happen with Jamal Murray as we speak. 16,000 followers in one day, 13,000. August 31st, 50,000 followers in a day, 16, 20. We see his numbers going up. Every time he had one of them 50-point nights, on them big duels with your boy Donovan Mitchell, you're seeing his stock rise up. So now, as they play in the Los Angeles Clippers, this is another opportunity versus Kawhi Leonard versus Paul George, some of the biggest names in NBA basketball, to continue to raise his stock. So I can imagine that by the time the NBA playoffs go, especially if he can manage, because they're not making out of this round, but if he can manage to take this to a 6-7 game series, you're going to see Jamal Murray at about at least 800,000, if not a million, by the time they're out of the playoffs. All right. Shy Gildress Alexander Gilgeous. Gilgeous. I don't know his name, man. If y'all been following me for a while back in the JBA days, y'all know I'm terrible and I will butcher a name quick, so I'm just going to call him Shy. His mama named him Shy, I'm going to call him Shy. Up-and-coming player, a guy who is playing for this OKC team, second year in the NBA, played for the Los Angeles Clippers last year, is playing in OKC, having a breakout year, great numbers in the playoffs, a stylish cat here. If you look at him, you know what I'm saying? I want to say this outfit here, he rocking the colorful Crocs, so you know the man got some swag. He feeling himself with the comfy socks. Look at that, the cozy socks and Crocs, you feel me? Kicks magazine is a sponsored athlete from Converse. Now, if you know, like I know, then it's not missed on you that Converse is an affiliate of Nike. So if you got the Converse deal, you kind of got the Nike machine behind you as well. So a guy who is on the rise in the NBA, still not at 1 million followers yet on social, but I'm telling you that watch this dude here. He's going to ascend here, and he's going to ascend in the future. Bam Adebayo. To me, Bam Bam, great nickname. Plays for the Miami Heat. I would have never expected his followers to be this low. 400,000 followers for your boy Bam Adebayo. Miami Heat, you know what I'm saying? The boat life, you know what I'm saying? We out, Harriet Tubman, great pictures, active on the social, you feel me? Plays on the team with Jimmy Butler. Dwayne Wade showed him a ton of love all of the time. One of the things I found interesting is that Bam Adebayo though is probably more popping on Instagram in if you're going to compare the two, right? So I'm sorry, on Twitter. So 400,000 on Instagram, but over 100,000 on Twitter. And to me, like I said, Twitter is a platform that is text based, word based. So you got to be clever, witty. You got to know what the gifts. You know what I mean? It's just a lot more stuff that goes on to there that I feel like in order for you to be popping on Twitter, you have to internally be um, creative and clever, as opposed to here on Instagram where you really could just take some great pictures or have people take great pictures of you and you don't even have to be the photographer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just more of the opportunity. So next we got DeAndre Ayton, first overall pick, Phoenix Suns, Puma deal. Um, but still hasn't even cracked 500,000 on Instagram yet. So this is just one of those things, right, where you think a guy who, if you in college and you're like, dang, oh, man, I really want to be an NBA player. The best way to get into the league and to have your stock be as high as it could ever be is being the number one pick. But we see DeAndre Ayton, number one pick, playing some pretty good basketball, averaged about 20 points this season. Let me see. I'm looking at it. Averaged about 18 points, almost 20 points this season. Still not, you know what I'm saying, be able to crack that top, be able to crack 500,000. International player, the Bahamas. You consider that international? I don't know. But so when I see international players, to me that means that you have a broader base, right? So you're not only tapping into the markets that you have here in America, but you also have opportunities to tap into those global markets as well. Um, Caldwell Pope, Contavious Caldwell Pope is a guy who is on this list because played a decent amount of time in LA with the Los Angeles Lakers. Active here on social media, but 352,000 followers, which is crazy to me, right? And also ties to LeBron James, Clutch Sports, all of those entities that are extremely have extreme notoriety and are have name recognition. And the reason why I put him here is because he has been on the Los Angeles Lakers in a more prominent role, but on the team for the same amount of time as this guy, Alex Caruso, who is now at 1.2 million followers. Alex Caruso is crazy to me because his nicknames is the Bald Mama, Bald Ego, Caruso. They call him the GOAT a lot of times, but you see the difference between a guy, Alex Caruso, who is averaging about 5 points a game, to Contavious Caldwell Pope playing considerably more minutes, and averaging maybe 10 plus points a game, but has not been able to draw your attention in the same way that an Alex Caruso has done, because Alex Caruso is very different. Not even drafted into the NBA, played a lot of time in the G League, whereas you look at a KCP, who is the 8th overall pick from out of Georgia, which is a pretty big school. And last but not least, OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby, Indiana Hoosiers kid. Hoosier basketball is a nation of its own, and it's crazy to me to think that probably these 200,000 followers that he has is probably simply all from Hoosier basketball. This is a guy who just a couple days ago hit one of the biggest playoff shots of this season, .5 seconds in the corner. Quick release I ever seen, splash and cashed it, walked off like nothing happened, and then went to the post-game interview and talked about it as if that's just some shit he do every day. And this wasn't that big of a deal. A very chill, very cool interview, but If you're not following OG, make sure y'all go follow OG. If you're not following any of these dudes in this video, make sure you go show them some love. And do this as you go pull up on their pages to hit that follow button. Let them know that I sent you over there. You feel me? It's your main man, AB the Hero. Finna get up out of here. Peace.